Okay, so what I'm about to say is going to mess up your life a little bit. I recently watched a video that changed my life. Up until that moment in my life, I've never thought of the goofballs in Brooklyn Nine-Nine as cops, like all cap. I know they work in a police precinct, but it's just so hard to associate these people with the murderer cops who brutally mutilated innocent people in their own homes. Like every other show in Michael Schur's universe, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is kind of meant to be a workplace comedy that reflects positively on a less appreciated branch in the society while addressing some important issues. By portraying a group of progressive detectives who sincerely care about their jobs, their co-workers, and the people they are serving, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is the dream scenario of how a police department is supposed to function. However, despite being all fun and game and hopeful, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is not exempt from being a piece of Copaganda.
I have a cop and propaganda. I put them together. Copaganda.
We are all familiar with the typical Hollywood cop image. Strong, stern, doesn't play by the rules, but gets things done. They are the ones keeping us safe. They are the people capturing murderers and robbers and chasing down serial killers, protecting young, innocent, dainty women from the danger of the society. We learned that from movies like Die Hard and TV shows like Law and Order. For someone like myself who have the privilege to never have any interaction with the real police, that's how I believe the American police to be. However, recent events have completely changed my mind and also compelled myself to do some researches and make this video. I had to find out why there's such a huge disparity between the representation in police procedural shows and the reality.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
The police procedural genre as we know it started with original Jackknife franchise in 1951, created by Jack Webb. In this show, creator Jack Webb plays the role of Sergeant Joe Friday of the LAPD. The show is a major landmark in media history because it was one of the earliest instances that portrayed the police as smart, selfless, and heroic. Before that, the police's media image had always been pretty stupid. Cops hated early Hollywood. To cite their own words, "The police are sometimes made to appear ridiculous." 1910, International Association of Chiefs of Police's resolution to condemn the movie business. According to Alyssa Rosenberg's Washington Post article, How Police Censorship Shaped Hollywood, the police and the movie business had always had some sort of major beef in the beginning of the 20th century. In 1908, New York Mayor George McClellan Jr. used police power to close down all the movie theaters in the city, which eventually led to the creation of National Board of Review of Motion Pictures, so the movie business could do some independent self-censoring without being pestered by the police. However, the saga between the entertainment industry and the police didn't just stop there. Policing permeates all aspects of filmmaking. In the early 1920s, Hollywood relied on the cops to preserve their stars' reputations. In the meantime, as on-location shooting became more and more popular, securing permits and police staff for shoots also required the industry to maintain a good relationship with the police department. All these things just compel the industry to suck up to the people they used to make fun of, because yelling pigs in a cop's face will only make the filmmaker's life harder. So for a period of time, the representation of the police in movies are simply amicable. No ridicule, no flaming criticism, not worshipping yet, just amicable. Thank him, Jacknet. Creator and star Jack Webb wanted an authentic show that reflected how police work were actually done. He forged a partnership with then LAPD Chief William Parker and LAPD's Public Information Department, basically giving them full control over his script in exchange for story ideas, logistical help, and the truth. The LAPD could scratch anything in the script that they didn't agree with, including, of course, any possibly negative portrayal of the police department. For instance, according to Alyssa Rosenberg, even though the show had Black and Latino cops, it left out the racial segregation policies in the LAPD. It's not like they don't know it's bad, they just didn't want you to see it. The intimate collaboration was extremely profitable. Not only did it help to market the show as an authentic look at the police work, the LAPD also provided a lot of support for this production. With the police mastering the narrative, the Joe Friday became one of the earliest hero cops in media, which also kicked off the police procedural genre. The show was a massive success. Ratings for the 2nd to 5th season were all in the top 10s of the years. Dragnet became a model for future cop shows because producers saw the convenience in working with the police. In a time when television was considered chewing gums for the eyes, having things like reality-based, investigative, and authentic as a brand image brings credibility to the show, hence high ratings and money. Not to mention that it helped to get the cops off your back and saves you a whole lot of trouble. It is this synergy between Hollywood and the police that created the police procedure genre. When I was writing this video, I began to realize something. There are so many different procedural genres, and they all relied on this authenticity persona. Many medical shows or legal shows or even workplace comedy have extensive collaboration with the people they are portraying. So why did police procedural shows ended up having a reputation as propaganda? So here's the thing, and it's just my opinion, you don't have to agree with me. Propagandas are made to serve a purpose. The doctors, lawyers, or just paper company employees do not have as much power as the police did in creating this genre and in real life. I mean, if doctors weren't happy with Grey's Anatomy, they can't shut it down. They don't have the power to shut it down. The lawyers can sue, of course, but they can't shut it down right there, right away either. The lawyers don't have guns or riot gears to do so. Only the police have the absolute power to enforce the law, which theoretically give them more power than anything else in controlling their representation. I took a crime fiction class a couple of years ago and we got to discuss Derrida's force of law. My professor mentioned that because the police are the enforcers of the law, each time they make a decision, they are creating a new interpretation of law. If they see someone speeding and decided not to pursue it, does that mean it's okay to be speeding? If they see a person just walking around the neighborhood and arrest them because they seem to be very suspicious, does that make walking around the neighborhood a crime? I mentioned this to demonstrate how much power the police have in our lives. This sort of arbitrary power is partially normalized by police procedure shows. Cop shows put the police in a vacuum where the rest of the judiciary system does not seem to exist and blurs the boundary between personal grievances and duties of a job. Film and TV are all about justification. We see the world through the cop's eye, so we root for them. That's another element of propaganda, justification and glorification of the subject. Because each episode of a police procedural drama is about the crime, this show's creating an impression that our world is danger-filled and our police protagonist is there to protect us, the innocent civilian, from becoming the next victim. So in real life, we grow to support stop and frisk. Because the world is so dangerous in shows, the detectives and officers on the front line are allowed to be militarized, so they can better protect themselves and the people. So in real life, we agree to a humongous budget for the police. Because the criminals are evil, vile, and vicious in shows, they deserve to be brutalized. So in real life, that happens. In cop shows, the stake for the police is always high. Their lives are always at risk. They work so hard to preserve law and order of the world, despite some rule breakings on the way. And that's my least favorite cop show trope. The unruly smart cop versus their bureaucratic, rule-binding supervisors. It's like they're saying it's okay for the cop to beat up a suspect because they deserve it, because they were guilty and we, the audience, see it, even though they weren't convicted yet. The protagonist cop may be a flawed person, but they are always a good cop because they catch the bad guys eventually. However, the fact is far from the fiction. The main function of a police department is crime control, but most of the time they get caught up to non-criminal situations that they can't properly tackle with their tactics. And data and facts suggest that they aren't that useful in crime control either, unlike what you see in cop shows. According to FBI's Criminal Justice Information Services Division, in 2018, which is the latest available data, only 45.5% of violent crimes were cleared by arrest. That number goes a little higher in non-metropolitan counties at 55.8%, but that's the highest it got. However, almost 100% of the crimes in police shows and movies get solved. The police aren't as useful as they are made out to be, and that is why cop shows are propagandas. They are just making the police look better than they are at their jobs to score public support. All cop shows does that, including, and I'm sorry, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine is kind of a special piece of propaganda. It's still trying to make the police look competent and heroic, of course, but it also spends a lot of time addressing the issue within the police department. It's a reformist view on police work. By representing people of color and normalizing the LGBTQ+ community, this show wants to tell us that the police is capable of change.
We have tried reforming, and it's not really working. In his book, The End of Policing, Alex Vitale explained why police reforms don't work. Current police reforms called for more trainings, a more diverse police force, embracing community policing, and enhanced accountability measures. And here is why they aren't working. Trainings don't work because, number one, there are fundamental flaws in public policies like housing, education, and healthcare that police trainings just can't help. None of these procedural or sensitivity trainings are going to make the problems go away. And number two, many trainings are actually conducted by independent training companies like Close Quarters Battle and Children's Securities that serve both the military and police clients. They emphasize a military-style approach to problems and a warrior mentality. In many of these trainings, the police trainees are constantly exposed to simple stop-turned-deadly situations, which prompts them to resort to a lethal shooting as a way of self-defense. Diversity in the force doesn't really work either. A lot of studies have shown that the race of individual officers have no effect on their use of force. Cities like New York and Philly have a largely diverse police force, but they also have policies that are essentially racist, like stop and frisk, broken window policing, and war on drugs. It's the departmental pressure that makes things hard. The same could be said about community policing. Accountability measures faces challenges as well. Qualified immunity makes it almost impossible to persecute a cop. Here's my friend Karan's explanation on qualified immunity.
Hey, can you... Why did you do that?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. It's just, I thought you were gonna slap me first.
Okay, well, I feel like you should still get in trouble.
Oh, for sure, yeah, we can get the teacher in here.
Is there a problem here? Yeah, he slapped me. He should get in trouble, right? Has he slapped people before? Yeah. And did he get in trouble then?
No.
Okay, so according to the rules, he can't get in trouble now.
Wait, what? That doesn't...
Did you see that? He just slapped me again. Has he done this before? Yeah, it literally just happened. And did he get in trouble then? No. Okay, so according to the rules, he can't get in trouble now.
Wait, I'm sorry, what kind of rule?
This can't be legal.
It is.
It is, yeah.
Can I slap him?
No, he's special. You would go to jail.
Besides that, cops don't snitch. Remember that episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine where Sergeant Jeffers got racially profiled, filed a complaint against the officer, and then got passed for a promotion? Yeah, cops don't like snitches. And the worst thing is, all these reformist methods just keep increasing the police budget and size of the police force. It's making everything a crime problem when they really are just a problem with housing or education or healthcare that we don't have money for. can you still watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine? I mean, it's not really my place to tell you. I'm not an internet cop. Watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine doesn't make you a bad person. But I did just spend a whole lot of time making a video about Copagandas to teach you something about the media representation of cops and tell you why this show is a piece of propaganda. So use that knowledge. Think when you watch your favorite cop show. Watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine as a satire and actively think about the jokes, you know? Ask yourself, what does the bet between Jack and Amy mean? Does arresting more people mean making their community a better place? Is that just a plot device, or are the writers trying to make a point? Consciously think about what the representation of a hero cop means and reject that. We can't change what has already happened, but we now know for sure that we don't need any more of Copagandas. We don't need any more of Brooklyn Nine-Nine's and Law and Orders. It's time for a change. And if you're a writer or someone inspired to go into the entertainment business, imagine how you can rewrite a cop show. Imagine what a defunded police force will look like. Imagine a world without police will look like. And write it, pitch it, and make it happen. And that's it for this video. I've linked down below some resources that I found really useful, so go check it out. If you think you've learned something, share it with others. And give me a thumb up, subscribe to my channel. It will really make me happy and keep me motivated. Thank you, and see you soon.